It's an interesting time in India's history. We have a woman president, we have a woman finance minister, and we have a woman heading up SEBI. Women are literally over the moon in India, having played a key role in the lunar and solar missions that India just sent out. In my interaction with the Prime Minister a couple of weeks ago, he said that Nari Shakti was the essential ingredient for India to hit the 5 trillion mark. But according to the WEF gender parity report, it would take 131 years to close this gap. To discuss easy problems such as this, I have a super hot panel in our very cold studio in the snow from Davos. Dipali Goenka is the CEO and MD of Welspun, a global leader in home solutions, and her vision is Har Ghar Mein Welspun. A little bit like Har Ghar Mein Nal, but okay. Priya Hebbar is the chairperson of Hindustan Zinc, India's largest and world's second largest producer of zinc. And Debjani Ghosh is the first woman president of NASSCOM, an apex body of the technology industry of India. Welcome. Since we're just 2 weeks into the new year, and we're still in January, New Year's resolutions are still hot. Debjani, you had a great one. You had Daniel Craig grooving to Get Up and Drive That Funky Soul in 2024, and that's the vibe. Would you care to elaborate, please?
Daniel Craig is a vibe.
Definitely a vibe. Everyone in this panel is suddenly feeling hotter.
He is a vibe. But, you know, I did that because I was, just before I posted that, I was reading quite a few of the predictions, the usual 2024 predictions. And everyone sort of, they're so optimistic about how 2024 will solve every single problem out there. You know, everything that went wrong in 2023 will be right in 2024. So I was sort of thinking about that, you know, this has to be magic. And whenever I think magic, that's the name that comes to mind. So I sort of posted that, saying this is the vibe of 2024, where we believe that everything that went wrong earlier or that didn't work earlier is going to work. So all fingers crossed. Let's see what happens.
So you are feeling very optimistic about 2024?
Mixed.
Daniel is there to pep you up anytime you start flagging.
I think there's a lot of work, at least for technology. There's just tremendous amount of work left to be done.
Okay. Priya, you talk about the seeds that you've sown, and some of those will come to fruition in 2024. Talk to us a little bit about what are those seeds that you've sown, and what are you kind of expecting and excited about in 2024?
So, you know, being a woman in a male-dominated sector, you know, a very hardcore mining and natural resources sector, when I entered the boardroom for the first time, very young girl, anxious, nervous, you know, with, 8, 10 male head honchos around me, extremely experienced. I didn't know what to expect. And, you know, the first thing I felt was, you know, this needs to change. There needs to be, there needs to be inclusivity at all different kinds of levels. You know, unless we have that, we're not going to see progress. And from that day, really, it was a mission. And today, we're close to having 30% women in our leadership. And not only that, we're talking about women. In 2019, women were legalized to go underground and mine. Hindustan Zinc was the first company in India to get women underground. Yeah. And these are women who are driving forklifts, the first women rescue team of India. And we have an entire mine which is run primarily by women now. It's so amazing because you go to them, you speak to them, and you know what they say? The first thing a few days ago when I went and met them, they said, Priya, I feel safer when I'm 1 kilometer under the ground. It's just, it gives me goosebumps. It's an amazing feeling, and that's progress. You know, that's where we have to head.
So
and there's no looking
back to that. Women
Absolutely.
on top of the world by being underground.
Absolutely.
We'll come back to that. Dipali, let's talk about yours. You made yours public so that others can motivate you to stay committed. Can you talk a little bit about those?
So for me, I think I started working when I was 30 and my girls were like 7 and 10. For me, again, it was a male-dominated textiles, and for me to come on board was a big deal. People felt that people were like, is Welspun serious about what they're doing? And I think the interesting thing here was that people didn't realize that the other side is a woman. The decision maker is a woman. And I think what a woman can do and make a difference, nobody else can. And for me, I played on my strengths here, Kalli. And I think for me, that was the game changer. Because today, I'm talking about Har Ghar Se Har Dil Tak Welspun, but I think present in 50 countries across the globe, and a vendor and a partner of choice to all the global retailers, and a choice for a product for home in India. I think the important thing is thinking consumer, thinking the way she's going to buy, the buying habits that she has, is really made a lot of difference. But one more thing just I want to add on. 30% women, as Priya said, was a big task for me, because to influence the family, to get the women and share the workload was a big deal. But today, happy to say that, not only blue-collar associates are there, but white-collar as well, around 12%. And it's a long way for us to go. But yeah, the journey's begun.
So one of the things, I'm going to come back to 30%, but one of the things that you said in your New Year's post, and that really resonated with me and I'm sure with other women, is you talk about wanting to spend more time with the family, more time with your daughters, having more time to read, which kind of alludes to balance, right? Having that elusive balance in life. Now, what is your secret sauce? How do you do it?
I think by creating more leaders. And it's not easy to say that. I think it's about sharing your vision. And I think the other person being more motivated and running with that vision of yours, which is, is a very important part of what you do. And I think saying empowering is less done, but I think leading it in the way of by an example, where everybody holds that vision and is excited to be part of that vision, is a big deal. From the blue collar to the white collar and to my global teams across. I think that's what it is, and I think that's the purpose. And if you've done that, I think half your work is done.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
I think balance is impossible. I absolutely believe balance is
Realist.
impossible. Okay, it's more about integrating both lives with each other or into each other, right? And something a mentor of mine taught me, and it's a beautiful thing, and I use it. I use this every day, literally maybe multiple times every day. She said, you have two balls. One is rubber, one is crystal. When you drop the rubber ball, it'll bounce back. When you drop the crystal ball, it'll shatter. Every day, based on priorities, you have to decide which is which. And no regrets. No apologies, no regrets. When you decide family is the crystal ball, you will communicate that to everyone you need to communicate, and you will ensure you do not drop that ball. And when you decide work is crystal, you'll do the same. And I have used that mantra literally every day of my life, because I think balance is impossible. It's about figuring out your priorities, and it's about communication, as you just said, so that people understand the other side.